What's up, guys? H Dizzle here, Tesla fanboy number one, and I have decided that I'm gonna put my entire life savings inside a Tesla stock, and here's why I did it. Before we get into this, I just want to let everybody know I am not an investment advisor. I'm not very good at trading stocks. I'm terrible at gambling. I'll lose money. So I just go by gut instinct and what I know and what I hear and what I feel. And I just wanted to share it with you in case it might fit your situation. But don't do what I'm doing unless you're willing to take a lot of risk. And if you lose everything, don't blame me because I'm not telling anybody to do this. This is just what I'm doing. So the key to my decision lies not in the last conference call, that was Q3 2019, but some key moments that I caught in the second quarter conference call that were all but confirmed by Q3. And let me tell you a little backstory about me and Tesla stock. The way I found out about Tesla was I forget the year, more than 10 years ago, I see the Tesla Coupe, the very first version, just driving down the street. I look it up. I'm like, hey, that's a Lotus, but it doesn't look like a Lotus. So I looked up Tesla, I started following them, and it was about 2012 when I decided I'm going all in. So I didn't have much money in 2012, but I put what I had, about $20,000, into Tesla stock at $33. And I'm all excited. I call my dad and tell him, hey, Dad, I just bought this company. I think it's the future. Here's why, and why. Here's what I see. And Dad's being dads. He scared the crap out of me. And about 3 days later, I sold all of it. And I've been watching it ever since. I said I'd get back in at about 170. It got there. I thought it was going to go a little lower at that point. And that's when it started coming back up. And I got scared. And I wasn't quite sure if this was the right thing to do. But the Q2 conference call all but convinced me from what Elon Musk said. And here's my viewpoint on Elon Musk. I don't think he's like any of these other CEOs who are just doing a job and they're BSing most of the time. This guy's a genius. He kind of sees certain things, and when he understands certain things, he does it. And he really doesn't lie about what he's doing on the conference call. I can just sense he's telling the truth. So here's how the conference call started off. Elon says, hey, last quarter was a record delivery in Q2 of 2019. We delivered more than 95,000 vehicles. Now keep in mind, a lot of people compare this company to DeLorean. DeLorean made about 7,000 vehicles and that was it. They were done. Elon Musk at this point is making almost 100,000 vehicles in 3 months, which is a record for Tesla. As he said, let's put it into perspective. It's nearly an 80% increase in deliveries compared to the second quarter of the year before, 2018. So let's take a listen to one of the clips that convinced me from the second quarter conference call of 2019.
I think this level of growth is possibly unprecedented. It might be the fastest that any large complex manufactured item has grown in history.
Elon then said after that we expect growth to continue in the 50 to 100% rate in the future. And I think it's even more because Tesla just tapped the Chinese market. They built a factory there, so their costs are going to be lower. China has also required that by 2025, they want 25% of all vehicles in the most populated country in the world to be at least 25% of all output. And Tesla's going to be the one to put out most of that output. The US market has already stopped most of their subsidies. The Chinese market is just beginning. So not only are they going to have exponential growth, but their costs are going to significantly decline. If they can make these in China more than they need to ship to China, now they can send those lower cost vehicles all over the world. Let's listen to clip 3, what Elon has to say that really convinced me on that Q2 conference call.
Our total Tesla fleet size has doubled in the past 12 months, which is just a kind of a crazy thing to consider, that Tesla is almost doubling all cumulative production every year. This is a totally mad thing. To make as many cars in a year as we made in our entire history and to have that be an ongoing trend, I think it is difficult for people to really feel an exponential. We didn't evolve to feel an exponential. We can feel a linear, but we can only understand an exponential at a cognitive level.
As Elon said, exponential growth. And what did they get them in Q3? That was their first quarterly profit. Now, I think January 28th, 2020 is your last chance to get into Tesla stock before you're just going to see it skyrocket and not come down for the next 10 years. Now, that's going to push out a lot of shorts. And if the exponential theory is right that Elon says, this is what it's going to look like on their sales and profit. So it's just going to continue to raise the stock price because they're going to become a bigger and bigger company. And here's another prediction of mine. I don't think Tesla stops at cars. I don't think they stop at solar panels. I predict they become one of the largest energy providers in the world. What you see oil companies doing now, Tesla's going to be doing. And I'm going to take it one step further because their artificial intelligence technology is based upon what a computer visually sees. And he is the world's leader in artificial intelligence and robotics. He's making these machines, and basically his cars are robots. They just happen to have wheels instead of arms. What I'm predicting is he's actually going to be one of the first companies to put out androids in the future, because that's software that just sees and thinks and figures out how to move limbs in certain situations and what to do. He's going to have that technology. I mean, what is a human? A human is a computer that can move their limbs, and by manipulating certain things, basically, if you think about it, we're just pushing buttons on a computer, and we're coming up with all this magic in the world because those button pushes have thoughts behind them, and what we see can compute what we are doing with those fingers. And those fingers make music, those fingers make computer programs, those fingers make clay. Well, he's going to have the brains that he's going to put in mechanical hands and fingers. And let me tell you what I'm really predicting. Tesla is going to be like Skynet. They're going to make those kind of robots. Not war type, hopefully, but they are going to make robots that can help people. Maybe one day when I'm old and in a nursing home, I'm going to have a Tesla robot wiping my butt. That's what I'm predicting. One day H Dizzle's gonna get his butt wiped by a Tesla android. So let's listen to this last clip that really convinced me that I need to sell everything, sell my house, sell my car, pull everything out of my bank account and dump it into Tesla stock.
Tesla is expanding at an exponential rate. And in fact, if you look at the Tesla cumulative deliveries chart, like year-over-year cumulative deliveries, it's about the cleanest exponential graph I've ever seen. So obviously, if that trend continues, the results I think are going to be pretty amazing, and I think that will continue.
There you heard it straight out of Elon's mouth. That is the cleanest exponential growth chart he has ever seen in probably the history of any company, and he expects it to continue. Lastly, something that's really convinced me that I need to put all my money into Tesla stock is Elon Musk is taking no salary from Tesla, but he's made them a deal. When he becomes a $600 billion company, he's going to get a massive, almost $60 billion paycheck. And if you think about it, they're a $60 billion company today, so they would have to grow 10 times as much to be worth that much. So I'm going to at least 10x my life savings in 10 years or less is what I'm hoping to do. Like I said, don't listen to me for investment advice. This is what I did, not what I expect anybody else to do. So I'm going to end this video saying, long live Elon Musk! We love you, man!